Hey Criminal Nation, back with another video. This video is going to be a little different, as it's going to be our Spider-Man spoiler movie review. Usually our movie reviews are non-spoiler. This one's going to be very spoiler because we are very late. Also, it's going to be like a vlog part.
Better late than never.
It's going to be like a vlog at the beginning, and then the movie review will be after the vlog. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy. Overall, how do you think the movie was?
Overall, I think the movie was a solid Marvel movie. I'd put it, if I'm doing a tier system, I'd put it somewhere in the middle. I think that I really enjoyed it, but I think that coming out and being the first MCU movie to come out right after Endgame is going to leave some people like it was okay. It wasn't Endgame. Let's face it. We may not ever get another movie that's Endgame, at least not in the next 5 to 10 years, most likely. So let's just accept for what it is. It's a Marvel movie. It's a good MCU movie. It's a great storyline. It's great acting. So if you take it for what it is, I'd say middle of the road Marvel movie, maybe like above average. I'd probably overall give it like a 7 would be what I would say, maybe closer to an 8. I love the movie, but I felt like on the standard of Marvel and MCU movies, I don't even know who was in my top 10.
Oof. Well, I'm just going to end the video right there. So if you know us, you know that I love Spider-Man, as you can tell, so I might be a little biased. I'm going to try and take the bias out of my love for Spider-Man and just treat it as any other Marvel movie, which I'm still a fan of. So that being said, you know, you have your top of the top Marvel movies. You have Endgame, you have Infinity War. In my opinion, Thor Ragnarok is up at the top, along with Civil War. Those are my Mount Rushmore.
I would agree. I would also say you have to put Avengers.
You have to put Avengers and Iron Man up there.
I would also say you have to put Avengers 2 up there.
No.
Yes.
Age of Ultron was very boring. That being said, I'm putting Far From Home in the category that's directly below that. So for me, I'm putting it in there with The Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's in that range for me. Again, I love Spider-Man, so that being said, but I love that it's a storyline we've never seen from Spider-Man before. I feel like that's always something you have to avoid when doing a Spider-Man movie. So they did something you've never done before. It tied in comedy with like a teenage love story and like a summer movie. So those three combined, I loved all the elements of it. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio was amazing.
Agreed.
I don't know what you think about that.
I agree with all that. As per the norm, I think MCU did a great job casting. They always do a great job casting. Okay, not always. There have been a few exceptions.
And the past, I
don't want to call anyone out by name, but Larson.
Yeah, she is the dark, especially in the last 5 years.
Yes.
And casting has been.
But 95% of Marvel casting has been amazing, especially when you look at what other companies, DC, are doing with their casting, and it is a cluster. They have
cluster.
They are changing actors in their within the same series. Like, it is so confused. They just need to blow it up and start over, in my opinion. But this isn't a DC review. This is an MCU review. So here's what I will say. I agree that we had on the Mount Rushmore. I completely agree with. I agree that Iron Man has to be on there.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that the first Avengers has to be on there. I even agree that you can put it in the same category as the Winter Soldier. What you can't do is put it in the same category as Guardians of the Galaxy, because that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
I love the recent Marvel trend seems to be getting a big time actor and using him as a villain, and then maybe or maybe not keeping them around. So, for instance, I don't think they really killed off Mysterio like that. Just because he's Mysterio, like he has so many things he can do. In the movie it says, there's no illusions being used right now. But that doesn't mean, like, Mysterio's so good at manipulating everything, I don't think he's actually dead. I think they're actually building up for a Sinister Six, featuring Vulture, which is another big time actor cast as a villain, and Michael Keaton. Michael B. Jordan, I think Michael B. Jordan stole Black Panther.
No, Michael B. Jordan 100% stole Black Panther. And Michael B. Jordan was much better than Chadwick Boseman.
You're not wrong. But we're going to keep going.
You know who I'd rather be Black Panther? Michael B. Jordan.
So, just Marvel big time actors and using them as villains and then writing, like, that's one thing that Marvel's doing better than anyone.
100%.
Is that they're getting villains and they know how to build backstory for villains. Whether that's if you look at the most recent villains, you have Thanos, you have Mysterio, you have Killmonger.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel's a little different because it was like an intro movie,
right,
you know.
Right. But again, we're doing a spoiler review here. The Skrulls at the end. Yeah. Is that going to come into play in Captain Marvel 2?
Thing,
like,
or at all,
maybe something comes into play in next Captain Marvel.
Can be. I think they just want to show that Skrulls can be involved in anything, and you're not even aware of it.
Yeah.
Like that was mind blowing. Like especially Nick Fury, you don't expect the Nick Fury to be replaced. Like Nick Fury's like an A tier Marvel actor, right?
Right.
You don't expect them to be like, oh, he's actually a Skrull during this.
Right.
You don't expect that from Nick Fury, but he's doing his business out in space now.
Right.
Which I think Far From Home did a perfect job of ending the Infinity Saga with, like continuing on with Tony's death, and like slightly opening the door into what comes next, into Phase 4. We're shooting this on Saturday, so the Marvel Comic-Con panel is actually going to happen in a few hours. So we're going to try and get this video up as soon as possible. So they're probably going to announce a lot more movies
today. What if
they
announce a Sinister Six movie?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
After you've just said that.
I'm actually gonna be upset because they'll probably be before this video. But I don't think they're gonna build up to a main villain like Thanos coming soon. I think Earth's gonna have like their kind of villain like Sinister Six. I think space is gonna have a big villain. I don't think there's gonna be a huge overarching thing like Thanos. Right. I think they're gonna save that and use it for like a Fox property they just got. Because they're not going to rush to do anything. If we know Marvel, they're not going to rush any storylines, rush any characters. So I'm not going to...
Because they didn't do that with Thor 2.
Okay, Thor 2 was bad. Thor 2 was the worst MCU movie. But, I mean, nothing was really rushed. It was just bad.
Or did they just really need a sequel because Disney was pushing them to do it?
True. I don't know. Shots fired at Disney, man.
Sorry.
They probably couldn't push out a live action that movie. Probably only had 3 to put out that year. But yeah, so many funny parts in this film. I love this movie because, much like every other great movie, it has its funny moments, but it doesn't take away from the plot.
Right.
I feel like that's something they struggled with in the past, but they're getting better at. I don't feel like Spider-Man does that at any point. So when Happy Hogan throws his shield and it goes like 3 feet,
he's like,
how does Cap do that?
Yeah.
So like I love just small things like that, and it ties in other aspects. So like saying Cap, just small stuff like that. And I feel like every MCU movie should have 2 fight scenes. 2 fight scenes that you're just like, that first Mysterio fight scene was just beautiful and amazing, and anything it was everything that a comic book fan would want from Mysterio.
Right.
And then Nick Fury comes in and shoots Mysterio, tells him to give his name of his friends, and then it was actually still Mysterio. So Mysterio was just mind-blowing me the whole time.
And it was actually a scroll that shot him. So really no one is who they say they are in this movie. Can I say one thing that I really appreciate about this movie? So leading up, from Avengers 1, the first Avengers that came out, all the way up to now, solo movies, whether it be Winter Soldier, Ant-Man, Captain America, not Captain America, sorry, and not Captain Marvel. Guardians to an extent a little bit, but that's on a different planet, so I get it. Spider-Man movies, like, one of the big overarching problems that I have is that, and I get it, like, it's a movie, we shouldn't go in thinking this, and it kind of ruins the whole, like if you do this, you're going off on a rabbit trail, it's just going to ruin the series. But it's thinking, like, why don't they just call the Avengers? Like, and you know what the worst movie for that for me was? Thor 2. Like, in Thor 2, I'm just like, why don't they just call the Avengers to help? Like, the world's going to end, call them and get them to help.
And there's this huge fight on Earth, and it doesn't even mention...
Right.
Like, they're not even on Asgard, it's on Earth. This huge final fight, and it's like, it's just Thor.
And I'm not saying that Far From Home did a perfect job of keeping that out of the back of your mind. And this is going to be something that the MCU struggles with and has to deal with every non-Avengers movie that comes out. But I feel like, they addressed the superheroes that weren't there, or at least most of them, and at least gave them some kind of storyline. As lame and as bad and as corny as all these excuses for why people weren't going to be there were, at least they inserted them into the movie. And to be honest, for most of the movie, I wasn't even thinking about it, because it felt like a one-on-one fight with Spider-Man and Mysterio. And they even addressed it multiple times where the people that were helping out Mysterio were like, there are no Avengers around, there's no Avengers inbound, and it seemed like Mysterio kind of had a contingency plan for if the Avengers actually did show up. So I really appreciated that they at least put that in there and laid some groundwork for addressing why the rest of the Avengers weren't there. And like I said, it's going to be something that the MCU struggles with, and it's just one of those things that you have to go into the movie and say, okay, this is a Spider-Man movie, the Avengers aren't going to be in it, but on the overarching theme of the MCU and the overarching storyline, because as we've seen for the last 10 plus years, every MCU movie can tie together. Every single one of them can tie together. They're not going to have like mixed up timelines all over the place. So it's always really interesting to me to see, okay, how do they address the other Avengers not being here? Where are they? When they come out with their next solo movie, what are they going to be doing in that? So I think they did an excellent job, or as good of a job as you can in the situation, especially following Endgame.
So that's another thing Marvel does well. They keep these good film directors around. We see it with Taika Waititi, the Russo brothers. They keep them around all their projects. It's not they're not just stuck in one thing. So it's like they have, I believe his name is John Watts, the director of Spider-Man, but they also have Happy Hogan to help him. You know, it's not just one person directing one movie.
Right, and I'm sure Favreau was able to go in to the director and say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And are just able to bounce ideas off of each other. Just because that seems like, from all the things we see from most of the directors, it seems like they're very close-knit with each other, and it's not as competitive. You know what it reminds me? It reminds me a lot of like the directors of the Pixar movies. If you ever have a chance, watch a Netflix documentary on it. You know, again, who really knows what happens behind the scenes? Maybe they're not as cool as what as a documentary makes it seem, but it seems like they're just a close-knit group of people, and it's not a huge competition. And the guy who directed Finding Nemo is also helping with Cars, and is also helping with Toy Story, and is also helping with whatever. And I think that those guys are probably very involved in all the Avengers movies with the Russo brothers, and it just seems like a tight group that Disney's willing to pay and keep together, and they've done a tremendous job all throughout the MCU and the history of it. So shout out to Disney for doing that.
So overall, Spider-Man Far From Home, Tom Holland, best Spider-Man. If you didn't already think that, I think this movie kind of cements that. The overall cast is amazing. I don't think there is a bad casting character in this movie. Would you say so? I wouldn't say so.
I'm gonna say no. Not off the top of my head.
So the entire cast was great. Tom Holland's amazing.
Can I throw one more thing in?
Yes.
I know this movie's gonna be like, or I know
Just
this video
overall,
is gonna be like 20 minutes long, but I love that Marvel went in and they brought in the same actors that were basically extras in Iron Man, Iron Man 2, all these different movies. They brought in people that were basically extras and gave them movie roles within an MCU movie. Like, that is so awesome. Like, obviously they only had like a few lines. It's not like they were all like super involved, or it's not like they all had a ton of screen time, but it is so like
from Iron.
That's so cool that the MCU.
They got a guy from the first MCU movie, Iron Man,
which is what 12 years ago now.
Yeah, who had a minor role in that movie.
No, I don't even know if he had
lines. I think he had a line.
Maybe one line.
I think he says, "Well, sir, I'm not Tony Stark."
Right.
I think that's all he says, and now he has a role in Far From Home, 12 years apart.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, keep
all the directors, y'all are awesome. Marvel Studios hasn't put out a bad movie since probably, I think, Thor 2. Thor 2 was also very bad. But since then, I think they've gotten a lot of stuff together.
I agree.
I don't think there's
been amazing. Yeah.
Even Captain Marvel, a lot of people hate on that movie. I liked it because I like seeing Nick Fury's backstory.
Oh, I like Captain Marvel, just didn't really care for Brie Larson.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever.
I also didn't really care for what they did with Captain Marvel in Endgame, but that's for another video.
Yeah. Okay. So overall, Tom Holland, best Spider-Man. The overall cast was great. Mysterio, one of the greatest villains, especially recently with Eric Killmonger.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say he was at the level of Thanos or Loki, but he's probably top 5 villain in MCU. Would you say so?
100%.
Excited for what's coming next in the MCU. Everyone knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
That's gonna be something to keep an eye on.
I think Sinister Six is coming. So that's something to look out for. Other than that, great movie. If you haven't seen it, then why'd you watch this video? If you have seen it, put in your comments. Put in like what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, how it compares to other Marvel movies, what you want to see from us. Like if you want us to see us rank all the Marvel movies, since we talk about it in like every video, it feels like. So we did all that. Got off topic. Talked about other Disney movies. Well, that's kind of what we do. We're talking about Disney things. If you're new to our channel and just search a Spider-Man review.
And you probably didn't find us.
Other than that, that's all we got from us.
Yes. Be sure to hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
Comment down below. Like this video. And until next time, guys.
Kwaherini.
Kwaherini. Spider-Man.